concerned about right now is us. So, for all those that went ahead of us, for all of those that are pre-celebrating without us, that's great. What about us? Well, Jude, do not want you to be uninformed, brethren, about those who are asleep, so that you will not grieve as do the rest who have no hope. See, there it is in a nutshell, what I just got done saying. We don't have to worry. The ones that have died are with Christ right now. Their bodies later to be resurrected. But that's what Paul says here, so that you will not grieve as do the rest who have no hope. If you don't know Jesus Christ as your Savior, you have no hope. If you don't have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Master, life after this is, well, at best, you're null and void, and there's nothing left of you, and you won't have any recollection of anything, or there just won't be anything left of you to worry about anything. But again, we know that not to be the case.
For human life, even does, like he said, the celebration continues from there. It just continues on. It doesn't stop because she died.
Yeah.
There's so many things going around in my head right now. It's hard to pick out any one thing. That she was the best part of me, I can tell you that. She was there for me when she probably shouldn't have been there for me. She's always been there. She stood behind me every step of the way for 42 years. We lacked 11 days of that. This illness that she has is a bad illness. She had arterial cirrhosis. She fought the good fight. 27 years, that surgery that she had. The first bypass graft that she had was 27 years ago. She was 40 years old. And it was one of those grafts that failed that ended up taking her life. But there was 27 years, and most of that was good years. Most of that. She knew that God was the one that kept her alive. When she had open heart surgery 12 years ago, the doctor that did it didn't think that she would live a year. That's how bad her arteries were. That was 12 years ago. I mean, it was God. That's the only reason. That's the only explanation. There is no other explanation. Anyways, I think that's all I'm going to say right now. And if you'd like to say something, my son Jim is going to walk around and he will bring this mic to you.
Most people don't know me. We live in Berlin right now, in Germany. I'm the oldest son, Jim. I really don't know what much to say except for that my mother was a loving person, and everybody that I know knows that. She always had a smile on her face. She could light up a room when she came into it. Would always make you laugh. And I'm going to really miss her. But I know that she's up giving Grandpa and Grandma big hugs for me. And I hope that I can be the person close to what she was, you know, being kind and generous to everybody. She was always helpful. She was always there. She was there for me and my wife many times when we had our problems, along with my dad. A big support in our marriage. I just love her to death. I miss her. I'm glad we got to see her. Yeah, I'm not really a big talker, so if anybody would like to say anything, I'd be glad to hand them the mic. So. except I know that she's in she's in good hands. That I believe that she's there looking down on us. In fact, this morning when I woke up, it's been cloudy for a week, and I see the sunrise, and I had the feeling that Mom was smiling down on us today. I just had that feeling, and then me and my wife was sitting on the porch talking this morning, and my mother has been a bird fan all of her life, okay? And she's always loved her birds. And this morning we were sitting on the porch, and a bird flew in on the porch around our heads. And I believe that Mom was telling us, we're here, I'm here with you, I'm watching over you. And I don't know how to describe it. It was the weirdest thing because the bird wouldn't go away. It just kind of flew around us a few times and then flew up into the tree. And I love my mom with all my heart. She's taught me things that I could never learn from anybody else. And I'll cherish her always in my heart. And those little voices that every time telling me this and that will always be there. And I know for a lot of people that it'll be the same. Because she was a good woman, and she's going to be very missed. So, and like I said, I think she's good to go now. It's the people here that have to being taken care of. Just like the Reverend said earlier, it's not that what's gone, it's what's left behind. And I hope to carry on her tradition of being loving and kind, and yeah. So if anybody would like to say anything, I'd be glad to give them the mic. But I know.
So I've had the honor of knowing Virginia since she's moved up here. I don't know, about 28 years, right? And she's a great person. I wish I could tell the story on my own, but I can't. I got some dementia going on, so I wrote it down. So the story I really wanted to tell was about this little cabin they moved into when they first moved up here. You know, it was just up the road from us. And it was really awesome because we'd go up there to see her, right? And when they moved in this cabin, you could see the light through the walls. It was pretty great, and Marlon was working really hard at getting it all sealed in so they wouldn't freeze to death, you know, when the winter time came. So it had the holes, and you could see daylight through them, and he worked really hard, and it really was a beautiful little cabin. It was something that Virginia loved immensely. It fit her lifestyle just totally. And so as Marlon worked to complete all the things in the cabin, they got all the holes done, but then they had to deal with the mice, right? Because we got lots of mice and rats and stuff up here. So you'd go up to see her, and Virginia was by far the happiest little person anyone would ever know. And even though she complained about the little mice, you know, having to clean it up, because every time she'd find a mice, she'd dump the whole entire cabinets out and wipe them down with Clorox and wash all the dishes. It was like, oh, Virginia. Or you'd go up there and she'd have the silverware pulled out, right? Because they got into the silverware drawer. So Marlon worked really, really hard at getting all the mice gone. Oh, and they ran up in the ceiling and everything. And we just laughed. It was part of our lifestyle. It's what you live in. So anyway, once he got the mice under control, then it was the ants. Oh, we got the ants in the summertime. It was great. So you go up and see Virginia, and happy as she is, she'd frustrate her that she'd have the ants. Here she is pulling the silverware out the door because the ants were in it. So it was really fun watching Virginia grow in the lifestyle that she loved the most. And she did love her cabin. So what a challenge at the same time, and she wouldn't change a thing. There's not a thing in her life that lovely little old woman would have changed. she'd do it all over again if you gave us a chance. She'd start with the hole in the cabin, and the mice and the ants. So, does love come with challenges? Yes, and Virginia had them all. So, that was the first little story. The other one I want to talk is how amazing the little things seem to have the most impact, and how magnificent the little touches that she gave, and the little things, and the little words that she said. She was a pretty magnificent person. Virginia touched everyone with little cards with big words on them. I mean, how many people received a birthday card from her? And for how many years did you receive those cards? Yeah, that was Virginia, only homemade, never bought. So, let's see. Love always from the heart. She always had words and love from the heart. And I'm glad that I'm able to call Virginia not only my sister, but my best friend too. And she was my most magnificent, because she was very magnificent to me. Every time I went to see her, it's the simple things in life that are the most magnificent. And I gotta say, that was my little friend and my sister. She's my little magnificent. And she might not be with us in the flesh. She's with me every day. And she will be with me every day. So that's my story. Anyone else?
I have to add to her my story just a bit. When she said this, there's no way I couldn't add this part. The mice weren't taken care of when she thought they were taken care of. One time I went hunting, and I heard about this story when I got home. The ceiling had insulation on it, but it wasn't covered yet. It was just bats up there. And my wife, I don't know if anybody knows this, but she liked to feed the birds. Well, the mice would eat the bird feed. They would store it, and they were storing it in the insulation, between the roof and the insulation. And one day, when I'm hunting, I'm gone, the insulation all falls out and lands on the table right where she's sitting. And I mean, there is all kinds of stuff that's flying out there, you know. It's all that food that she's been feeding the birds all this time, along with a little rat poison and mice poison and all that stuff is mixed in. Anybody want to? Yeah, your story brought that back to me.
I would like to say a few words.
I was her physical therapist for 5 years, and I just wanted to talk about how passionate she was. She would come in hurting, not wanting to do anything, and she would get into the pool with me, and her little teeny body would go crazy, and she had the goal of going on her camping trip to see her family. Everything was for family and loving them, and she pushed herself so hard just to be able to do the things she wanted to do with her family. It was lovely. The other cute thing I always remember is she would come in. I ate French fries this weekend. She was like, I didn't want to tell you because you're going to yell at me. And I said, I've never yelled at you before, but I'm trying to get my blood vessels stronger. And I ate. She had such a desire and a joy in eating, and I loved it. It was beautiful. Yeah.
So we were at the hospital there just a few weeks ago, and I just wanted to say that I don't know how tough she was. Maybe she was just tough for everybody else, but it was amazing to see how much pain she was in and could still smile. Wow, you know. And like I said, I don't know. I didn't know her as well as a lot of you others, but I just really appreciated her smiling right for herself, for her God, and also for everyone else. So, but she was just another thing I'd like to say. She was absolutely one of the sweetest ladies that I ever knew. And I think that's a great attribute in a true lady. So.
So, way back in like 1975, I met her. I met her at my brother's house. My sister-in-law introduced us. And she lived 800 miles from me. We had, 500 miles, okay, 500 miles, I was corrected. It was still a long distance. And, you know, back then you didn't have the way we just send texts and stuff today. It was either telephone, which was a long distance charge every time you called, or it was letters. We wrote letters to each other for over a year. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, she knew, the moment she saw me, she said she knew that God had given me to her. I had no idea. None whatsoever. You talk about a woman's claws. It was the best move of my life, I can tell you that, but that's not one of those things that just came to me.
We moved here in 2011, and Virginia welcomed us with open arms as friends. I mean, she didn't know us from Adam. But we always joked about knitting, and she swore she was going to teach me to knit with 4-point needles, so I told her I would try. And I've never seen Virginia laugh so hard when I told her I ended up with yarn around my neck. But I want to thank the family for allowing me to be there and be holding her hand when she went to be with our Lord. I pray she knew we were there. And I just want to thank you, tell you I love you, and thank you for that blessing.
So, my brother and I and my family grew up with Marlin, Virginia, ever since we were itty-bitty, just babies. And they're grandparents to me and family. And Marlin and Virginia are just perfect. It just, their personalities are just amazing. And Virginia had this, not only just kindness and loveliness about her, but she was spunky and sassy. And her sassiness was probably my most favorite thing about her. She had her little sarcastic comments that would just make you smile, make you laugh, and I mean, you could go buy, you know, like those sponges from the store, but if you got one of her handmade sponges that she made, I guarantee you that would last you 3 or 4 more times longer. Yep, these little scrubbies, longer than any store-bought scrubby in the whole world. She made it with love, and that just made it last. And like the little things, like Dorothy was saying, like the little things, that was something that was really, oddly enough, important to us. Every time we got one of those, or every time one of those would be run down, we would go to her and be like, hey, could you make another one? She'd be like, of course, I have plenty, you know. Don't even worry about it. Take 3 more, take 4 more, you know. And yep, she would definitely teach you how to crochet and knit, and it was amazing how she was so talented with it. All of her beautiful things she made for her children and grandchildren, it's just incredible. But like I said, one of the biggest things I remember about her and cherish about her is her sassiness and her way about of just making you laugh and having that little cuteness and spunkiness to her. But she'll always be with us and our family, and we cherish her very much, and she's definitely a part of Marlin and always will be. So, thank you.
I've known Virginia a good portion of my life, and she's probably one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. I used to call her my second mom, and to me, she is just like a mom. She always has been. And I think there's many other people that have felt the same way about Virginia. She's just had a special way about her that she would always make you feel so loved and accepted no matter who you were. You knew Virginia would not judge you or hold anything against you, but she would just show you the love from her heart that God put in her. And she's been an example to me, and everyone that I know that knows her never has anything but good to say about Virginia. She was the most kind, loving person you could ever meet. And if you ever were feeling down or something, if you were around Virginia, you couldn't leave that way, because she would always uplift your spirit. And she just made an impact and impression on people that if you knew Virginia, you just know this a special, one-of-a-kind person that you'd never meet another person like her, like she is. And she'll always be in my heart and all those that love her. And I know, again, that I'll see her someday, and I know we all look forward to that. And I just want to say that I appreciate the life that she lived and the example that she was to all that knew her. And I know that she's made an impression on us, and it'll always be there. And just like Marlon said, Jim, she's always with us in our heart. And she always will be, as long as we're on this earth. We'll never forget Virginia, what she did for all of us. We love her.
It's the little voices in the head that comes back when mom says something. And they'll always be there. Close the speaker.
Oh, okay. You know. All right. So my name is James, and both Marlon and Virginia kind of took me in as their son during the situation that I was in, and I can tell you that you couldn't have a better mom than Virginia. If you're gonna have one mom, where's my mom? Love you, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna have a mom, Virginia would be the best. And she was just so loving, and she didn't mind joking with you. She's so funny. And kind of like what my dad said, she didn't care about, she didn't judge you on the things, she just was always there for you. And I guess what I'll just remember from her was, me and my dad always said that she was the best woman in the world. And she really was. She's just so loving, unconditional. Just appreciate that she was there, and appreciate Marlon too for all the stuff that he's done for me. It just shows, I think that both Marlon and Virginia kind of show, how Christians should act, if you know what I'm saying.
I had the pleasure of knowing Virginia through a couple different avenues in life, and one of them was through the hospital. And a little while back, I was up in Hot Springs, and I was talking to this lady who seemed kind of sad, and I said, what's going on? Why are you so sad today? And she said, well, I just learned that my really good friend Virginia passed away. And I didn't know that these two ladies knew each other. And I just wanted to say that this is just a small representation here of the lives that she touched through her life. And then another thought would be, it's probably not too surprising that I would meet somebody who knew Virginia and was very sad about her passing, because she was one of those types of people who people remembered because of her kindness.
So Virginia was my grandmother, and she was, for me, my only grandmother. Sorry. She was the most loving person I've ever met. She was always there for me. Sorry. I live in Berlin, Germany, so I couldn't see her a lot. I saw her like 4 times, but she always used to like hug me and give me kisses because that's the thing she always loved to give hugs and kisses. And I also remember she always made me slippers and all that. And she always used to send them to Berlin and we used to talk on the phone for I don't know how long. And the first time we spoke on the phone, I didn't even know German and English because I only knew German. It was really awkward, but I still enjoyed it. I don't really know what to say, but I only know that she was so important to me, and she still is. She always will be in my heart. And I don't know, it's just, she's so kind, and she was always there, and she was one of the greatest people I've ever met.
Well, I wasn't gonna talk. But I have to. I'm her middle son. That's why I didn't talk. Don't cry for me. You cry for yourself. Mom, she was always there. You know, always loving, lift you up when you felt down. She was so special. Such a good woman. Such a trooper. I mean, the last 8 months. I mean, the pain that she went through. Struggles she went through. She would always smile. That's right. She would always say, we can make this. We can do it. Such a good one. I love you, Mom.
Hi there, I'm Seth, and I've known Brother Marlon and Sister since I was about 15 years old. And so when I met him, you know, Marlon, just a firecracker, just on fire for the Lord, and this tall, strapping guy, and then this beautiful, short, awesome wife that was just as fiery as he was. And every time, no matter, you don't go through our teenage years, we kind of go through some rough times, you know, and different times. And every time that I, you know, would go to meetings and different things, they would always just, the two would just, they were so imprinting, and they would lift you out of every pit, bad feeling, everything. It was like this amazing pair that God had put together. And so throughout our whole, as I got older got married and started having children. Both of them was such a special example to a husband and wife, that the perfect continuity that they had, beautiful, masculine, Marlon and the feminine. She was so, both of them were so balanced. And as we went through, I was watching them, the imprints of their life together are so prevalent within me and my family. I see that awesome continuity that they had and have. So it was a very beautiful example to my wife and I, and these children the Lord has blessed us with. They come see Brother Marlon and Sister Virginia, and I just love their example that they give to my family, my children, and that will be with me until I pass over and give her a hug. So.
Hi, I'm Sophia, one of the granddaughters. And not my grandmother, she was definitely the glue that got the family together. Anytime I saw her, she would always grab my hand and we'd hold hands and walk wherever or do whatever. And she'd always have something to say just to keep talking. And no matter how many years we haven't seen each other or whatever it was, we'd always stay in contact. And I feel like as much as she loved all of us who were here and who the word wasn't able to be here, and how much she put effort into it, we all put as much effort right back in it for her. Because we all know how much it meant to her to give to us and to also receive. I'm bummed that I wasn't able to be here sooner and things didn't work out, but I'm really glad to be here now. And I know she's really glad that we're all here now for her.
Well, I haven't known her that long, but sometimes when I go up there with my family, there was this one time, and she came out and she was going to walk around her house to get her steps up for her Fitbit. But one time I tapered her, come and you squeeze her on her side. Well, as soon as I did that, she turned around and looked at me, and she started running and chasing after me. And as soon as she got me, she started tickling me, so I started laughing, and it hurt my stomach. And it just made me feel really loved, and she's always been there when I was sad, so when I've always seen her, and she's been like family to me, and I've always loved her.
We haven't known Virginia and Marlon for like many, many years. You know, I look at her age when she passed away. I look at my age and I wonder, why am I still here? And I got it figured out, Marlon. It's because I'm going to have to slap you alongside the head when you do something stupid. And he's been known to do some really stupid things, huh, James?
No, I don't say nothing.
That's his co-part. But she always, you know, she loved her husband a lot, but she used to get so mad at him. Why is he doing that? Don't know. Don't know. But we used to go back and forth, and one thing she always told me, she says, you can really make me laugh. She goes, I really like that about you. And I used to think, you're crazy. But we did. We used to have a good time just laughing over stupid things, woman things.
Joanne, everyone needs a purpose in life.
Mara and Virginia came into our lives, and they lived up the Clinton close to us. And Virginia was a very good friend. She rarely called me by my first name. She just called me girlfriend. So I've been her girlfriend all these years, and I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss her calling me that. But I'm very thankful for knowing her all these years. And whenever we'd be together, she would always say, after we were done talking about different things, oh, you're so funny. And I miss that too.
Virginia attended Our Lady's Bible study for years. And I was just looking out across all of you younger ones. And I want to tell you, your grandma prayed for you. We have a fantastic prayer group. She prayed for you, she prayed for your grandkids. And I don't want you to forget that. She sincerely, sincerely loved you and was concerned about you.
Family. Margaret is my cousin, James is my cousin. And just sitting here thinking what you said about her spunk and her sarcasm in love was one of the things that just endeared us to her. And just her little, when you were saying that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to reiterate that and say that was Virginia, was her love and her smile and just forgiving and accepting everyone for who they are. She did not agree with everyone what they're doing, and she would have that opinion. Of course, it was right, but she didn't judge anybody. She would just be Virginia, and she was definitely going to be missed.
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of things that every person here can say about Virginia. You know, doesn't matter if we're going to take the mic or not. But everyone here I know could say a lot about Virginia. She's just such a wonderful person. She'll definitely be remembered. It's not like someone dies and say come do things better. You leave. She's one of those people that just stays on your heart always. I can't wait to get under the heaven with her, see her again, and so she can slap me again.
Just don't rush it.
Just don't rush it.
Hi, I'm Mary Jim, I'm Jim's wife, Eva. I just want to say that Virginia welcomed me to the family almost 29 years ago, just was open heart. And I think everybody in here already explained what a lovely, caring person she was. And I want to thank you all for being here and sharing that with us. It really means a lot to us. And I can say she was more a mom to me than my own mom. I must say I was really close to her. I'm going to miss her very much, and I thank you all for being here.
but we have a little video we're going to show you now. We're going to have some lunch. As soon as I figure out how to turn this off. She's a
If we could all keep that in mind and surround him with that love. Let's ask a blessing. The family would love to invite you guys over to partake in the potluck meal. So let's do that. Let's ask a blessing and close in prayer. Father, we come before you asking for comfort for those that are grieving, for peace, for those that are perhaps living in turmoil right now, for closure, for those seeking perhaps an end to this and the way they're feeling. And Lord, we know that we all grieve in a different way, as we've said. We just ask that you would be with each and every one of us as we go through that process. I thank you for all of those who have come and for all of those who have shared their stories of their wonderful time that they got to spend with Virginia. Lord, we are just so thankful that you put her in our life for the time that you had. Pray for Marlon, too, and the rest of the family. Lord, we just ask that you would continue to comfort them and walk them through this process of grieving. Again, we thank you for her being a wonderful mother to her children and a wonderful wife to her husband and a wonderful friend to so many of us. Lord, I do ask a blessing on the food that we are about to partake of, and I just pray that you would continue to bless our fellowship together. We thank you for this time that you've given us to come together and to rejoice at the celebration of life of Virginia, and to celebrate the fact that we know that she is with you, Lord Jesus, right now. Thank you for that. And we pray this in your name. Amen. So I think, ladies,